we're going to start in just a moment. So
I'm going to turn them.
got all quiet, so it must be time to start. Wait for Susan. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Oh, there's you.
Good morning. I want to call to order the January 10th, 2017 meeting of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, the first meeting of the calendar year, and a very special day. We have, as many of you, if not all of you know, that have joined with us this morning, we have some very important business to go about this morning, and we're going to do that, and then we will come back to our consent calendar, our agenda, after we've done the swearing in of our supervisors from both District 3 and District 4. And have a reception, and so we're going to go to that in just a moment. But again, I want to welcome all of you, certainly this morning on this rainy day, and certainly we've had many days of rain, and we hope for the best. And again, I think the drought, we can safely say, has probably been broken by now. If not, somebody's kidding themselves, I believe. But nonetheless, thank you for making it here in inclement weather for, again, a very, very important, very special day. And so with that, I turn to the clerk to call a roll, and we'll get our meeting rolling here.
Good morning, Supervisors. Supervisor Cerna?
Here.
Kennedy? Here. Peters? Here. Frost? Here. Natoli?
Here.
And you have a quorum. This meeting of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned and is webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated Friday, January 13th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. A DVD copy is available for checkout from any local library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address the board may fill out a speaker slip and hand it to staff. When the chair calls your name, please come to the podium. Please also take a moment to silence your electronic devices.
Very good. And with that, I'd ask our incoming supervisor from District 4, our most new supervisor, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
A little bit out of sync, but we got it done. Okay. All right. With that, Madam Clerk, we're going to do our swearing in. I know we have some very special guests to conduct the and officiate the ceremonies, and so with that, I'll ask you to assist with that and call the folks to the dais, to the podium. Excuse me.
So for item 31, we are swearing in the elected officials. First, we have Susan Peters, Board of Supervisor, District 3, being sworn in by District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert.
Very good. And I would just note that as Susan and District Attorney Schubert are approaching the dais, that we have one of our former supervisors who actually preceded Susan and then Muriel Johnson, and that's the former supervisor Sandy Smoley. Sandy, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us.
We don't have the swearing-in speech figured out yet, so.
Just say I do.
Yeah, sure, yeah. You'll say it? You can stand here. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. I ask you to raise your right hand. I, Susan Peters,
I, Susan Peters,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of California,
Constitution of the State of California,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Office of Board of Supervisors
Office of Board of Supervisors
in and for Sacramento County
in and for Sacramento County
to the best of my skill and ability.
to the best of my skill and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I just want to say a couple things about Supervisor Peters. Before I was lucky enough to get my job, I didn't know her really on a professional or personal level. And over the last 2 years, I think I've really gotten to know her, hopefully both on a personal and professional level. And what I've come to appreciate about her and her dedication to this county is that she's what I would call a fixer. And she's out in her community every day.
In the legal kind of way.
In the proper, appropriate, non-DA kind of way. She is, and what I really appreciate about this board is that they're all dedicated public servants. I very much look forward to Supervisor Frost as well. But Sacramento County is a very lucky place to have not just a tremendous board, but to have Supervisor Peters out there fixing the problems that we face as a community. So thank you for asking me to do this.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Words.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you, Anne Marie, and nice to see you all here today, even though I know you're here to see Sue Frost because she's the main show, so I won't talk too long. But this marks the 4th time that I've taken the oath to represent the representatives of the 3rd District on the Board of Supervisors. I'm truly honored and humbled that the residents of the 3rd District have again expressed their confidence in me. Today's ceremony is reminiscent of one 4 years ago. At that time, I remarked how the 3rd District is almost entirely composed of the unincorporated area. At that time, I asked the board not to abandon the unincorporated area as we struggled with the fiscal challenges facing us. Regardless of whether a supervisorial district is 94% unincorporated, 43, 37, 18, or 4, the fact remains that the residents living in the unincorporated area, regardless of district location, rely on the county for their municipal services, especially the Sheriff's Department, which functions as the unincorporated area's municipal policing force. I'm grateful to my colleagues for listening and providing support to the Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Community Prosecutor Program during the past 4 years. By strengthening those budgets, we enabled Sheriff Jones to initiate intelligence-led policing, and the District Attorney was able to strengthen the Community Prosecutor team, both of which benefit the unincorporated area greatly. I'm equally appreciative that the board has supported efforts to update and streamline our planning processes to encourage reinvestment in our older commercial corridors in the unincorporated area. As a result, we're seeing measurable results in the county's older suburbs of Arden Arcade, Carmichael, and North Highlands. In Arden Arcade, the How About Arden Shopping Center is being revived. Country Club Plaza is making a real comeback too. And what once was a very rundown retail center in Carmichael has been reinvented as the Milagro Center on Fair Oaks Boulevard. And I think many of you here are old enough to remember when the Country Western Saloon was the main thing in there. And I think the Sheriff's Department spent many, many hours there. So it's a real addition to on that side, plus all the restaurants that have gone in. Likewise, we've seen the creation in the last year of 2 more P-bids in the unincorporated area, offering increased safety and cleanliness for businesses, customers, and adjacent residents. Another P-bid is on deck to be formed this year. These are signs that the suburban unincorporated area is making a comeback from the terrible recession that impacted us. But while we see positive movement, challenges remain for our older suburbs. Homelessness, the condition of our streets and roads, and the arrival of legal recreational marijuana. Based on what we've discussed in workshops held this last fall and the experience we've had over the past years, that we know that homelessness is a very complex subject. Being homeless is not illegal, but there's a legitimate debate on how to address behavior: loitering, aggressive panhandling, illegal camping, and more. Those homeless who are in need deserve our help and compassion, but we have to balance those concerns with that of the safety of our neighborhoods. While law enforcement is not the solution in addressing homelessness, we must be realists. The problem is a genuine challenge because we cannot compel an individual to get help unless the person is a danger to themselves or someone else. Like all of you, I want to see the homeless outreach succeed in getting the individuals the help they need, and I also want our homeless resources to be used effectively and efficiently and to provide more permanent supportive housing and mental health services. The other challenge facing the unincorporated area is the condition of our streets and roads. While more than 65% of the voters in November were willing to tax themselves to fix our roads, Measure B failed to meet the necessary threshold for approval. Regardless of that outcome, the truth of the matter is we still have a road maintenance backlog of $450 million, and that gap will continue to grow with state and federal cutbacks. Our road maintenance problem will only get worse. In fact, the longer it takes to do the necessary repairs, the more it will cost to do the repairs. I appreciate that the county executive has in the past few years recommended adding $1.5 million from the general fund to be spent on roads. While any amount, no matter how small, helps, it is nonetheless a token gesture. Poor road conditions impact our quality of life and have economic consequences, discouraging private investment and job growth. We've been waiting for the state of California and the federal government to help fund our road maintenance, and they've not come to our rescue. For our residents' benefit, that inaction must end. Lastly, I want to raise the issue of the legalization of recreational marijuana. To some local jurisdictions, the ability to tax production and cultivation offers endless tax revenue possibilities. But we at the county, who will impose our decisions on the neighborhoods of the unincorporated area, must be cautious and learn what has happened to other jurisdictions where this drug has been legalized. The Denver, Colorado District Attorney, in a public letter, stated that legalization resulted in many more law enforcement problems and costs, including an increase in the number of children being treated in emergency rooms for being poisoned by marijuana. And Denver law enforcement reports becoming much busier as a result of the legalization of marijuana, which meant a significant increase in costs, not the reverse. I remember listening to innocent residents here in Sacramento County who were scared about the grow fields next to their homes in urban Arden Arcade that had armed sentries protecting the marijuana crops. Prop 64 may have enjoyed support in the statewide November election, but a breakdown of our voting shows the measure barely passed in the unincorporated area and our surrounding suburban cities. The residents of the unincorporated area deserve a thoughtful, cautious approach on the subject of cultivation and retail sales, and the possible negative impacts involving what is still considered by the federal government to be an illegal narcotic substance. Lastly, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, the 3rd District bears a high level of intensity because it's 94% unincorporated. And in many ways, my office functions as a mini city hall. My staff and I attempt to problem solve issues that predominantly involve municipal services. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the wonderful team in my office that are serving the public, and I don't know where there they are. Terry Condi Ortiz, Vanessa McCarthy Olmsted, and Howard Schmidt. They do a great job, and their dedication to the county does, the residents does the county proud, and I'd like to publicly thank them for their continuing efforts. Thank you, guys. I'm extremely grateful and honored that the suburban residents of the 3rd District, my neighbors, expressed their confidence to allow me to continue to represent them on the board. It's a public trust that I cherish and respect, and I will exercise to the best of my ability for the next 4 years. So thank you all, and now on to the main show.
Good job, Sid. Okay, well, thank you very much. Congratulations to my colleague and friend, Susan Peters, on not only her re-election, but certainly having been sworn in and the opportunity to serve with her in the years to come, and certainly look forward to that. And thank you for your good work and comments this morning. And with that, then we will turn to the next order of business, which is the initial swearing in. So, Flo.
Next, we are swearing in Supervisor Sue Frost with District 4, and she's being sworn in by Mr. Jack Frost.
And as they're preparing for the swearing, I just would note we've also been joined, in addition by the district attorney, we have our elected sheriff, Sheriff Scott Jones. Scott, we want to recognize you as well for your service. Thank you. And Jack's got the script, so you're ready to go.
Sue, I love you so much. That's not part of the script. And I've never been more proud of you than I am at this moment.
Thank you.
And I know you're anxious to get started with this job, so are you ready to take the oath?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the
That I-
United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Sacramento Board of Supervisors
of the office of Sacramento Board of Supervisors
in the Sacramento County
in the Sacramento County
to the best of my skill and ability.
to the best of my skill and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Actually, nobody told me I was going to be able to get a speech in here. This is probably the last time I'll get to say
Tell me if you want me to
anything.
gavel them down, Sue, okay?
But I've never seen anybody work harder at a job than my wife has worked. I remember 4 years ago when she was asked to run for city council in the city of Citrus Heights, and she started walking precincts. And she made one promise, and this is the story that I think really, really epitomizes Sue. She made one promise when she was knocking on the doors of the residents of Citrus Heights. She said, if you consider to elect me for this office, I promise that I will study every single issue that comes before me. I will do the research, and I will be prepared to make decisions that are in the best interest of my community. And I watched her do that tirelessly for 4 years. And I know that the citizens and the residents of Sacramento County will be proud, and they will be pleased with the hard work and the effort that she will put in. Thank you very much.
Well, those who run for elected office know that the spouse is the one who really can make or break your opportunity. And so I want to publicly thank my husband, Jack Frost, for all that you've done to support me. He is the hardest worker. He walked the most precincts. He had the best sign team. He did whatever he needed to do and whatever we told him to do, which was sometimes really hard for him. And I don't think I would have made it without Jack here. So thank you, Jack, for honoring me by installing me. I didn't prepare a great speech like Supervisor Peters did, but I do have a couple of words that I want to say. The path here was long and winding. I made my decision early on that if Supervisor McGlashan was to decide that she would step down, that I would run. I would never run against her because she did a great job for our district, and I appreciated everything she did. But when she made that decision, I quickly decided that seat is mine, and I'm going for it. And I didn't take my eye off the seat for 14 months. I had some very worthy adversaries, and I'm grateful for that because most of them are now my good friends and are going to be working with me to make Sacramento County a better place. And I want to say that the path here was winding. There were at times hills. There were times when I was on my knees, not sure why I got in this race. But at the end of the day, I'm honored and proud to serve. I want to thank all those volunteers and endorsers and financial supporters who helped me to get here. I want to thank my political consultant, Tab Berg, who really is good at strategy, and it was his knowledge of what to do that guided me through it. I want to really thank my new colleagues who have been so gracious and have invited me into their meetings, and early on, right after I got elected, began to work me through the training. The county staff have been amazing. I've learned that the county it's a big deal. There's a lot going on at the county, and there's not enough money to do what we need to do. And so the decisions that we make on this board are humbling and sometimes I know difficult, and I promise to work really hard to try to maximize how that funding can touch lives. I also want to thank my staff, actually Roberta's staff, Celia Coronado and Megan Pirelli, who have been so great. They've helped me and Matt as we have worked our way into our office, and I'm particularly excited to have Matt Hedges as my chief of staff, who has the experience not only in policy and research, but in leadership and serving on regional boards, local government and state government, and he has connections with people who can help us accomplish our goals. And he's already helping me a lot. So thank you, Matt, for being by my side. And Matt, I don't know if everyone knows you, so can you just stand up just briefly so everyone can see who you are? He's my better half. So in closing, I just want to say what I said to those people as I was walking and talking. I promise I won't forget who I work for. It's the residents and businesses in District 4 in Sacramento County. Thank you very much for this honor, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Well, we welcome Sue and congratulate you, and certainly many folks here today obviously are here to do just that. We're going to have a reception. I may allow for some comments too of my colleagues in just a moment, but I did want to acknowledge some other folks that are in the audience that are here to be a part of this. We have, again, someone who just recently re-entered elective office, and that's the Mayor of Sacramento, Mayor Darrell Steinberg. Darrell? And he's joined also by a colleague, Councilmember Steve Hansen. Steve, in the back there. And I know that Sue alluded to it, but we have Councilmember Carrie Howell, who was a candidate for District 4 Supervisor for a long time. And Teresa Stanley, I think, did I see Teresa? Yeah, there's Teresa, a former school board member, but also I would just say to Susan or Sue, but you wanted to call out the audience while you're up here. Anybody else that you wanted to acknowledge?
There are so many.
Everyone.
I'm not sure.
So you're all acknowledged.
There are people here who helped me raise money. People who walked and who phone banked, who gave up their businesses and their cars and their trucks for driving signs, and the elected officials who got behind me with their names and their contacts to help me get more endorsements and raise more money. The city manager of Citrus Heights and our police chief, Ron Lawrence, who helped, Chris Boyd was one of those people who helped me get to where I'm at, and we've been through a lot, and he has been a strong supporter of my learning and my journey, and he's a good friend as well. And I thank you, Chris, for your support, and I look forward to supporting you and your city the same way you've supported me in my journey. And I'm very excited to have Chief Lawrence, who I'm running into in the neighborhoods already. He's in the neighborhoods talking to the people. He's going to be a great chief. So there are others, the businesses, Republic Services, who have been behind me from the beginning, and Orangevale Chamber of Commerce. There are folks, we have Citrus Heights Chamber of Commerce here. I have dear friends who were working behind the scenes. It was like a full-time job for them. And I'm afraid. The Indian community from Folsom and Citrus Heights and Rio Linda and Roseville got behind me. The Slavic community. I am so fortunate to have, and Greater Sacramento, our chairman of the board for Pat from Greater Sacramento is here to honor me, and I thank you for that. I'm going to feel bad if I forgot someone. So. My dear friend Rosa Umbach, who, in spite of a difficult year, was there for me, and when she couldn't be, she got someone else to be there. So it's everyday people just like me that helped me get here, and with some very worthy challenges. So it's humbling to have that kind of support in your community, and I hope I do justice to, I hope I can do justice to the honor of serving. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, and again, we certainly acknowledge all of you being with us. Susan, did you anything else you wanted to? Okay. And anything on this side of the desk?
Sure. Okay. No, I'd like to start by welcoming the newest member of this Board of Supervisors. And so you already are well aware of the sacrifices, the challenges that come along with seeking public office and serving in the capacity as a local elected individual. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I think you would agree that the media and the public in general don't see, and that's where the hard work really lies. I think you're also going to find out in short order with this particular body. There's a long history, and I know Supervisor Smalley can attest to this. There's a long history of working very collaboratively. It's a very collegial group of 5 people. We have a very unique county, as you know, with 1.5 million people, and the largest population being in the unincorporated area. It presents some unique challenges and opportunities. So I'm very happy to welcome you to the board. I know you're going to do a great job for your district and for this county. Thanks.
Thank you.
Patrick? Okay. Well, with that, then, congratulations to both my colleagues, and welcome Sue Frost to the Board of Supervisors. And again, long journey, but that part of the journey is over, and now this part of the journey begins. And a lot of hours will be logged in these chambers, and certainly in working on behalf of the people of Sacramento County, and certainly in the districts that we represent. So, with that, we have a reception planned. You're all invited to stay and to again offer your congratulations and to join with us. And I'm going to suggest that we take about a 30-minute break and return here at 10:30 back in session for the other portion of the business calendar. So, with that, we'll stand in adjournment until 10:30.